Thank you, Srikanji and World United Organization for giving us this platform to speak about Ashtanga Yoga. We have well begun discussing what Ashtanga Yoga is, and we spoke about Patanjali's view. It is keeping in mind the Ashuddhi Kshaya, Jnana Dipti, and Viveka Khyati. And for that, the Ashtanga Yoga was the path laid out, and Patanjali has given different angas or the limbs. And after having discussed Yama Niyama and Asana seen and demonstrated, that was wonderful, Dr. Shivramadu. Very nice demonstration of asana by yourself. And then now we are coming to the pranayama and Patanjali's take on what pranayama is in the scheme of Ashtanga Yoga. Pranayama was always practiced in this Bharatvarsha, and when Patanjali incorporated it as a yoga technique, as a part of the 8 limbs, we need to understand what he thought about pranayama. And pranayama he has defined Tasmin Sati Shwasa Prashwasayor Gati Vichhed in his Yoga Sutra. So Tasmin Sati indicates having made our body ready after the practice of asana. Then we are moving ahead in the practice of pranayama. And in pranayama, he defines pranayama as a gati vichhed. Gati vichheda is like a human interference in the natural flow of breathing, that is shwasa and prashwasa. That is what pranayama is in the eyes of Patanjali. And then he has moved ahead and given us a description and given 4 types of pranayama that can be done, and that is bahya abhyantara, that is prolonged inhalation or prolonged exhalation, or there could be a stambha vritti, that is a halt or pausing. So that pause could be either after inhalation or after exhalation, and then it would be long, short, and that's the description. And Patanjali has left it loose over there. He has not gone into details of establishing how the pranayam is done, and I think that is left to Hatha Yoga to give us a detailed description on how these are done. And that is where we appreciate the skill of Patanjali, because he is focused on the goal and not on the means. But these means are important. And what is the importance of the means? He is coming up in his next sutra where he says, Tataha kshiyate prakashavaranam. And I think that is the most important part in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra related to pranayama. For pranayama, he has devoted almost 5 sutras at a stretch while discussing Ashtanga Yoga. So what is this kshiyate prakashavaranam? Prakasha is a light, and that is the light of the sattva in our human endeavor. So it is the light avarana on the prakasha. So the sattva is covered or avaraned by the rajas and the tamas guna. So these rajas and tamas guna are manifested in through our actions, kriyas, the karma that we do, the klesha, and that is what is implied here. So when we are doing pranayama practices, it is just an act. Breathing is just something that is happening normally. I mean, come and think about it. There were some yogis who thought of going deeper into the very act of breathing, and I'm sure till today, even now, all of us who have been learning pranayam from their different schools, before they were introduced to pranayam, nobody has ever thought of how am I breathing? Can I stop my breathing in a different manner? Can I do a kumbhaka? Can I do my alternate nostril breathing? Can I do ujjayi? Can I do shitali? All these varieties of pranayama that evolved, none of us have thought of it at a common man perspective. And I think that is the beauty of pranayam. So when we explore and learn these pranayam, it is helping the prakasha avarana nikal jata. It is removal of the avarana. And what is this? Because we are carrying out certain karmas, certain actions, and these actions have an impact on our life. The karma that we are doing, it is creating a karma bondage, it is creating a sanskara, it is creating an impression. And because of this karmic sanskara, karmic impression, there are certain drives we are born with, and these drive pull us to do certain things again. So it is a klesha and the karma which is always playing its role, and this is an endless action that is happening. And unless we put a stop to this, there is no progress in yoga. And that is why pranayam comes as an important limb. By practicing pranayam, the very act of breathing, even if we do right now and explore, come on, everybody, get seated upright, close your eyes, and take a moment to observe your breathing. Exhale out completely. Take a smooth, deep, long inhale. And a smooth, deep, long exhale. You can slowly open your eyes. What we just did now was the Gati Vichcheda. We interfered in our natural breathing rhythm. And what we discovered is that for this moment of one long breath, our mental activity was at halt. We did not think anything. We were just fixed, glued onto the very act of breath. And this, we did it only in one long breath. Imagine a person, a yogi, who is doing the sadhana of practicing pranayama over and over for an extended time, continuously for a long duration. Definitely it is going to alter the way he thinks. And when that mental alteration is happening, Patanjali has moved into the next sutra and he says the benefit as dharana sucha yogyata manasaha. The manas, the mind, becomes fit to do the dharana, that is the concentration. Why this manas is required to do concentration? We all know our manas is not stable at one point. It is multi-dimensional, because the manas, mind, is the leader or the ruler of the 10 senses, 10 indriyas. So all the 5 karmendriyas and the 5 jnanendriyas are pulling the mind, and the mind is moving along with them everywhere. Even while we are here in this program right now, some parallel actions are still happening. Our mind is parallelly involved in the other things, and that is the basic nature of the mind. And this mind first needs to be set at one place. Unless this mind is brought at one place, the further anga journey does not happen in yoga. And that is the importance of pranayama. So I just summarize what I have spoken about pranayama in the language of Patanjali. First, he is talking about the Gati Vichcheda. Then he is telling about the types of pranayama, which is inhaling longer, exhaling longer, or kumbhaka or stambha vritti. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra writes these words: Bahya Abhyantara vritti, Bahya vritti, Antar vritti, and Stambha vritti. And then there is a fourth pranayam, which is Chaturthaha, which is explained as which happens without human interference. A pranayam which happens just on its own by the practice of doing the pranayam over and over again and again. There is some alteration that is happening in the breathing mechanism. As a result, the pranayam just occurs. And that's the point when this prakasha varanam is removed and the tamas and rajas stop playing its role, the karmic connections and the klesha are overcome, and the mind is established in the sattva. And parallelly, the another benefit because of this sattvic mind is it is able to concentrate. It is ability to concentrate improves dharana sucha yogyata manasaha. So if anybody wants to ask any question, we can go ahead with that. or else I will ask you all to do one pranayam with me.
Sandhya ji,
Yes,
we do have one question so far
yes.
for you. So, with the pranayama,
Huh.
how does it help the lung diseases, especially in the wake of
COVID.
ongoing COVID is what, yeah, that is the question. So,
Yes,
if you
yes.
could throw some light to the audience.
I actually had it in mind, but then I thought I have to focus on the Ashtanga Yoga and Patanjali's view on it. Good that question came. That's why I actually closed my speech also a little early so that I can take up
Okay,
the question. Yes.
perfect.
Um, this COVID is a major fear in everybody's mind, and now that the lockdown has released, in fact, we are in a even more dangerous situation because now the penetration has occurred and it is all over, and we are really unsafe now to move out. So we can safeguard ourselves, and Prime Minister in his speech in the morning said community, immunity, and unity, and that's what we spoke about it. What we will be the pranayam of Brahmari, Ujjayi. These are the two very important pranayam. So Brahmari pranayam helps overcome infections, helps to fight infections rather in a fight. And there is a research done pranayam by Dr. Taneja, who is based in Delhi, and his research says that it increases the nitric oxide. I am not able to use the correct term. Dr. Ugandhar, you could guide me if I have used the right term for this, because this is useful in our human body to fight the infections. So is it nitric oxide or something that contributes? So that is what Dr. Taneja's research paper says about Brahmari. So as a yoga, even if we don't know the paper, what is it, we can simply do the Brahmari pranayam. I mean, we are using technology, but we don't have to know how the computer is formed, how the mobile is formed. You're still using it. So let's go ahead and do the Brahmari pranayam itself and understand its benefits. So Brahmari pranayam. So for a benefit of everybody, I would suggest you to close your ears like this. But those who are aware of the yoga technique called as Yoni Mudra or the Shanmukhi Mudra, they would be performing keeping the fingers like this, closing all the five senses. So thumb closes the ear, index finger on the eyelashes. This is on the middle edge where the hard and soft bone meets. On the upper lip is ring finger, and below the lower lip is little finger. And placing our hands like this, we would be chanting the humming sound. So in this humming, the humming has to be on a high pitch. So if you, while inhaling, you make a sound while inhaling. Likewise, that high pitched sound of humming will come in Brahmari. I'll repeat, just look at me. I'm inhaling with a sound. So when I inhale with the sound, it helps me to exhale also with the high pitched sound. Otherwise, normally everybody does like this. So when that is done this way, the humming is only in the cheek area. Here it has to reach to the Agya Chakra area. That is where it will help to alter the chemistry and help release that particular chemical by which we will be able to fight the infections. And of course, diet is very important. Regular practice of asana, regular practice of pranayam, regular practice of diet, ahar, vihar, achar, vichar is the pillar of yoga. That is what will help us to overcome COVID. Any other question?
Madam, if you permit me, I can add one line.
Yes, please.
Okay. I was having migraine, severe migraine for about 7 to 8 years. So that was at 42 years age. So I got introduced to this pranayam, some basic pranayama exercises which were part of Art of Living Sri Ravi Shankar's program.
Okay.
And in that 6 days program, my migraine was gone. And for 2 years, I religiously did that morning and evening. It never came back to me in that kind of intensity. If it came, it was normal headache kind of thing. But I was so surprised that in one go it has gone while I was going through the training itself. But 7 years it troubled me like anything. The only difference was the pranayama exercise. And
Yes.
I'm so grateful to all the teachers and the rishis who had invented this pranayama. And ever since I have been telling anybody, whoever is suffering with migraine. Thank you, madam. You have explained it so well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Anybody else to ask any question? Then in that case, shall I make everyone do the Nadi Shodhan pranayam if we have time?
Sure, Sandaji. Go ahead.
Yes.
We do have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. So that's a good time. We can really experience the pranayama. So Nadi Shodhan means alternate nostril breathing. So for this pranayama, you will be holding your hand like this. So to close the right thumb, to close your right nostril, and these fingers will be placed on your forehead like this, and with the little finger, ring finger, you are closing this nostril. So you can do this kind of maneuvering, and these fingers are rested here. So please get ready. Breathe in from your left nostril, everyone. Though I am turning my face for you to see, you don't have to. You can just face and sit straight. Inhale from the left nostril. Hold the breath in as comfortably as you can, and then breathe out from the right nostril. Breathe in from the right nostril. Hold the breath again as much as you can, comfortably. And breathe out from the left. So we continue, everybody, continue the pranayam. We will do 3 times at a stretch with your eyes closed, and come to the experience of the pranayam. While our friends are still doing the pranayam, parallelly, I would like to add one line about asana. What is Patanjali's take on asana? Patanjali has in nowhere written not a single name of any asana that this is this asana. All that is written in Hatha Yoga book. Patanjali says, Thira Sukham Asanam. Asana is that position which is steady and comfortable. And while doing the asana, he also suggests Prayatna, Shaithilya, and Ananta Samapatti, which is Prayatna is an effort in doing the asana, which was fantastically done by Dr. Shivaramadhu. So that's the effortful practice, that is the asana. And what Patanjali says, when you are in the asana, release the effort of asana, prayatna shaitilya, and do ananta samapatti. That is, concentrate on the infinite. And the infinite is the pancha tattvas. There's a vast akash tattva, vast element of teja, surya. There's a vast element of light, vast element of jala. So you can choose any of the tattva, concentrate on the infinite, and thereby what will happen is a tato dvandva anabhighata. That is, it will help one overcome the pull of opposites. And when a person's body, spirit has overcome the pull of opposites, then his pranayam sadhana can happen flawless and beautifully. That's the contention of asana in Raja Yoga, in Raja Yoga.